YouTube land, Rival here. Thanks for stopping by. As you can see, we've got a review video on the turntable for you this week, and this is something a bit interesting. This is the Booz Blades Smoke TS1. So you can see it comes in this double-sided pouch. Got an interesting info card. So this is the first run of this series from Booz Blades, which is a newer designer. The blades are actually manufactured by so a Chinese blade. And there was 50 of these in the, 100 of these in the blue titanium and 100 of these in the plain titanium. So this is one of the plain ties. They sold out very quickly. Lucky to get my hands on one. And definitely been in the mood for trying to find something different lately, and this kind of fell in the right time and the right opportunity. And this is a 3.5-inch front flipping blade. So there is a cutout here, but the cutout is not in a place where you can really access it. You could two-hand it, but as far as deployment goes, you are using this front flipper. Now, I've seen a couple people be able to reach up and around and pull it back and get it in good. I can't get a good fingering or a good grip on it to be able to do that, but I can just using backside of the thumb there. Get a good flick that way. It is running on bearings with S35 VN steel, and then, like I said, it's got a stone washed and tumbled tie frame. Blade length 3.5 inches, overall 8 inches, and it is super slim. That's actually one of the other things that I've been interested in lately. Have had a lot of full-size blades. Summertime, I like to carry smaller blades, things that fit in the pockets, shorts, things like that. So this thing coming in at 2.8 ounces definitely allows you to have a big, full-size 3.5-inch blade in a really slim package. The cutouts and little details like that definitely make for a nice, light knife. To give you an idea, like size-wise, here's a ZT450. Is probably the closest thing that you could come size-wise. It's also pretty comparable in price. This thing came in at $200 shipped. These things are like $160, somewhere around there. S35 VN steel. This has got a full high flat grind, whereas this, you can see there is an upper swedge. So the cutting edge is a bit thicker behind the edge here, whereas it's nice and thin behind the edge here. That's something very nice about this. Another blade that it kind of reminds me a lot of, and this is a custom as opposed to a production knife, but that's the Curtis Cruise, or the Curtis Slimline Cruise. I've heard it called a couple different things. They're very comparable in overall size, blade length, things like that. Just to give you an idea of how skinny it is, here it is next to like a 5.62. So you can see, well, maybe not. There you go. It's pretty skinny compared to this guy. So that is definitely an attraction of the knife. It does have a steel lock insert with an over-travel puck. It's got a nice milled clip. I really like this clip. It sits nice and deep in the pocket, and being slim and slender, it slides in along the edge of the pocket and is very unobtrusive. You can see this kind of gear pattern style cutout milling, and then of course the lanyard hole. Personally, on a knife this skinny, having a lanyard, not necessarily for me, but different folks. Other than that, it is a standard frame lock flipper. As far as that goes, it's got a solid lockup. Nothing real special in that regard. It's got good action. It will drop the blade once it's released, so it's nice and smooth on the bearings with no blade play in either direction. I would say, all in all, this is a fantastic knife. A nice knife if you want to save some space but still have a full 3.5-inch blade. Good cutter. Nice and stabby. Still somewhat thick. It's the same thickness as this. I think it's like 1.15 or something like that. So there's definitely room for something this skinny and this small to be slicier. But this is definitely a nice option. The thing about this knife, I think, is, or the consideration is, where it's coming from and what it costs. For $200, people are excited about this thing. This thing sold out really quickly, knowing that it was going to be in limited quantity. But if it were to be, mass availability, it is a standard production WE knife. Now they're asking $200, and that's with, the maker's getting his cut, and WE's getting their cut, and the dealer's getting their cut. So, how much these knives are really going to cost, and how much value or how much of the cost is going to, the process to get all the way back to the designer. It's an interesting thing to think about when you can spend the $160 and get this made right here in America. That's not to say there's no value in this, because that's definitely not true. This is an interesting knife. You're not going to get the same kind of package, the same kind of overall design. There's just not a lot of other options that stack up against something like this. It is very much in its own field in that regard. But when it comes to frame lock flippers, it's a titanium S35 VN steel knife. So I'm only pointing that out because I think that for me is the biggest drawback as to whether or not you'd want to get and keep it. It was something that I was kind of considering, and I decided to go for it. If you've got the capacity to be able to get it and it's not going to hurt your pocket too much, or you're collecting, or you're interested in trying something new, I think $200 is a good value point. And I think in that case, I would definitely go for it. It's very well constructed. That pivot is something that's pretty sweet. The details, the fit and finish are completely solid. This is the first WE knife I've ever had. For the most part, their in-house designs are pretty wild and not quite my taste. So I've been interested in trying one of their knives out. So this one worked out pretty good. I haven't had a lot of pocket time with it, but the little bit of pocket time I did have, it's completely sufficient. Again, it carries easily. I like the slim, compact part with the full blade. I mean, that is definitely something that's a very nice package. I really don't have any complaints for this knife other than the price point and just trying to decide where it falls, what it's competing against, and if it's something that I want to spend my money on, if it's going to stay in my collection, or if it's going to go. That part I don't know either. It's a nice blade. It's a nice addition to the collection. Whether or not it's a long-term keeper, don't know. So I will keep you updated, or if you check back from time to time, I'm sure you'll see whether it's here or gone. It's gonna be collection time, video time pretty soon, anyways. But that's all we got on the Smoke TS1. I got another blade that just came in as well, the Gavin Hawk Orbit. So I'm excited to do a video on that. That'll be coming up very shortly as well. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Peace.